I'm Vernon. I run the top mortgage brokerage in Massachusetts with over 20 years of experience.
I'm Craig. I've done $100 million consistently since my second full year in the business, and I'm Massachusetts' top mortgage broker. We're the Mortgage Daddies, with real advice, real stories, and real results.
Let's get going.
All right, my man. So you have been busy. You've been traveling a lot. You've been leaving me here all alone. I've been scared, lonely, but it's been for a good reason.
Yeah. You've been holding down the fort, taking care of headquarters here in New Bedford, and set me on the road, traveling out west to Washington, Nevada. We're starting to expand in a lot of different territories right now, in a lot of different states. It's been fun, learning a lot of different cultures and food and the way of life and how people do business in other parts of the country. It's pretty interesting. And, it's been different, right? I mean, I think you and I kind of grew up in this business and the broker and the wholesale model. Like I did a little bit of brokering when I first started my career and then spent 10 or 12 years on the retail side. And, I'm realizing that we built something special here, right? So, you grind all the time, 5-6 years in a row with you, just every single day, battling back and forth and making it happen and going out and seeing what other people are used to and different companies and their culture and what they have to offer. It's eye-opening to see that we've built something so special here, and couldn't have done it without you and the whole entire team that we've built around us. I talked to some broker owners and brokers that are coming over from other places. There's no benefit packages. They don't have a 401k. They don't have medical and dental, and these are like really important things. I think to your family, like, would you come and work at a company that doesn't offer these things? It's not that you have to take advantage of it. Maybe your spouse is a nurse and she's not going to leave her job and she's carrying the medical. That's great, right? But it's amazing to me, the more I keep traveling, I talk to a lot of different brokers around the country and a lot of loan officers working in retail environments. There's been a lot of movement in the banks. Like a lot of banks are kind of exiting out of mortgages just because of the everybody kind of consolidating and realizing that it's a lot harder than it's been in the past. So it's been fun for sure. It's definitely picking up over the last 6 months or so. Like the phone's really ringing where people want to explore and learn more about the broker channel for sure.
And I think like on our side, what we have here is a lot different than most brokers. Most brokers, if you're a loan officer, you work somewhere else, or you're, at a bank, you think a broker, you probably think of a small little shop where it's a couple of people, you don't really have a big reach, they're only licensed in a couple of states. We have something that's pretty unique that a lot of people would never have access to on the broker side because, they're on a retail company or they work for a bank where they're licensed in so many states and they're worried about coming onto the broker side because the company is only licensed in 1 or 2 states.
Yeah. Prevents them from growing their own business. Maybe they want to grow a team. They want to go on a P&L model. One of the big things that we made some big moves about 2 years ago, we partnered up with a local bank, which has enabled us to go out and use the federal registration for our loan officers, right? So there's a number of different states, and there'll be a map that pops up here that you don't have to be individually licensed as a loan officer. The company is exempt from those states from your licensing as an individual loan officer. So that's really helped out with the recruiting piece because somebody doesn't want to pay maybe $300 to $1,000 to get licensed and do the continuing ed that they're going to have to maybe get 2 or 3 loans out of that state. So, really by joining Milestone, they're able to take on those loans in Florida or Texas or Nevada or Washington State. Maybe you have a loan officer that's licensed in California that wants all those other states, but their company or their bank that they're working with right now, they're not licensed and they don't want to get licensed in there. We've made, a lot of investments into compliance and licensing and hired the right people to proactively look into licensing for all the states. And I think one of our big goals for 2025 is to really be at about 28 to 32 states licensed. I think we're at about 22 right now, and continuing to grow that. And I'm talking to a lot more retail loan officers coming from the banking world, where their margins are stuck. So their comp is being cut or they can't compete on interest rate, right? So if they're competing against Craig Snell, you're beating them by anywhere between 50 and 100 basis points and not leaving a lot of meat on the bone for the bank to make it really worth them to have to pay all their benefits and do all those things that they're going to need to win at that level. And it's really it's exciting to see people coming back out because it's been a tough market for the last 2 years. to see people get excited about the mortgage business again, right? And like kind of rejuvenate like their juices inside them saying, hey, listen, I can go somewhere, close a lot more loans, be very competitive, and take the next step in my career from going to close 1, 2, 3 loans. These guys were closing 6, 8 loans. I was on the phone with a loan officer working at a big retail shop out in Washington this week. He's down to 2 or 3 units a month. Great guy, super hungry. We ran through this couple of pricing scenarios, talked about the culture. He'd heard of Milestone and yourself. He saw some of your videos and things like that about being the number 1 mortgage broker in the state of Massachusetts. Like, kudos to you, another year over 100 million. And that's another thing, right? So when I go out on the road and I'm talking to, potential people who are looking into making the change, they always ask me like, what can you do to help me succeed? And I think a lot of smaller firms or banks, like they don't put the right tools around the people to help them win, right? We have coaching, we hold people accountable to the point where they want to be held accountable, right? If somebody's happy making $10,000 a month or $50,000 a month, and that's where they are, that's what I want to coach them up to. But it's really like just getting them to that next level and then seeing their excitement come through. I think the merger and, kind of teaming up with Bristol County Savings Bank 2 years ago has really, really kind of expanded the territory of where we can go and the offerings that we have. I mean, we have over 35 investors that we can send loans to. We have portfolio programs, new construction programs. There's not a lot of brokers. There's not a lot of retail operations that can do that. And this particular loan officer has already said, he's like, I'm going to probably triple, if not quadruple my business from last year by leaving this major retail organization, just because he said he was losing anywhere between 3 to 5 loans a month on interest rate.
Yeah.
He didn't.
You're going to lose your business partners.
Yeah. And
all that work that you put in, all that effort and all that time you built as a loan officer getting to that point. And now if you're losing deals left and right to rate, that agent's going to stop calling you.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day too is transparency, right? Everybody wants to see what raw pricing looks like. What's this? How you guys make money in the background, and we're an open book. Like, here you go. Like, go make the money. This is how much we have to make in order to offer all of the benefits and the packages that we have. And they really like that, right? Because they don't have to go to their upper level management to ask for a pricing exception because they have to compete with some crazy program that a local bank is offering, 10% down, no MI. All right, well, we have some of those products and we might have to make less money on that transaction, but we're all in it to win that deal. Keep that relationship, which a lot of these loan officers I've been talking to, that's their main focus. They're all really good people. They just need product to get it back out there and give to their business partners and their consumers. And it's huge. And going back out there and just going back to like kind of the culture here at Milestone, it's amazing to me how many of these loan officers just don't have any support. They don't have anybody to call. They're kind of left on an island by themselves, and seeing them just like kind of fire themselves back up. And, they're like, how did Craig Snell do over $100 million in the worst market we've seen in 15 years? I say he didn't change anything from his business plan. Maybe he's made some tweaks. I'm not saying you haven't done anything different. You've made some tweaks to get better, to, go back into the marketplace with a better product. You're always learning, always educating your consumers. Those are things they don't have access to, right? I mean, we've really done a great job internally building up our operations staff, make sure we're ready for that refi boom. I get a lot of those questions like, if I only do 5 loans a month, you guys have the processing when it gets really busy. And we're signed up with a handful of third-party processors. We have internal processors. So there's really no capacity. If we closed 150 loans last month, we have capacity to close 600 loans. It's gonna hurt. Like the upper management people, we're gonna sit back and we're gonna scratch our heads in the compliance and accounting, just getting that done. But that's a good problem to have. Like, we could take our volume that we're doing now, times it by 4, and I know without a doubt in my mind that we can handle the volume. And then we just have to plug and play and put those people in places where we're going to need them. But from a day one, from closing a loan from start to finish, I don't think anybody does it any better than we do.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, I think we've gone through it all since we started.
Yeah.
Started at 2 people, built it up to this now. It's a lot of time. I mean, the people who are interested in maybe starting their own broker shop. They've been in retail, they've worked at a broker shop, and they're looking to start their own. There's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of costs that go into it. And I think, some of the things that we're doing now to give those people kind of the opportunity to run their own business through Milestone as more of a P&L model that we've been talking about is a great opportunity to be able to, hey, you need to hire your staff, you need to do this, you need to do whatever. I'm not going to say no. It's running through your own P&L model. We're going to make a percentage of it, but a small percentage of it. And now you're at the ability, because I know like for somebody like me, if it was the other way around and I was like, okay, I'm going to look at either starting my own company or going somewhere. Personally, as a loan officer, I'm not crazy about all the back end business stuff. I like producing. I like talking to people. I like getting out there. That's what I like to do. And I think there's a lot of loan officers that are probably the same way, that I don't want to worry about payroll. I don't want to worry about compliance. I don't want to worry about any of that stuff. I want to go. I don't want my business to suffer. Your business suffered when you first opened.
100%.
Because why? You were spending time doing other things. You weren't spending time doing money-making activities 24/7 like I do.
Yep.
If I did that, my business would suffer. Is that worth it for a small percentage more that you could make? Or you go into a model like this where now you give up a little bit of percentage, but everything's covered, everything's handled, compliance, payroll, benefits, licensing in multiple states is all done.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. You have a loan officer that's licensed just in the state of Massachusetts today, and they come over to Milestone. They can have access to originate in 15 to 20 more states overnight without having to apply for a license. And then if you're opening your own shop, you have to go through the process of getting approved and waiting for an audit to come down for you. All of that stuff's taken care of. One of the big things that, I'm very proud of our team at Milestone, from our COO all the way down to, let's call it the janitor in this building. Every loan officer, I am amazed at how nimble we're able to be. And an example of that is your LOS, your point of system that everybody needs to have in order to make money in this business. We're onboarding a big team out of Washington, and they said, "Oh, we use this system." I said, "All right, let me take a look at it." In a matter of a week, an entire company of our size was able to make a decision at the executive level to change over because it was a newer system. It's going to cost us more money. It's going to be a change. And when you're making a change of any magnitude, never mind something that all 50 employees are going to be affected by, everybody took it in stride. It's a way better system. It's cleaner. And you're not going to get that at a big place, right? You walk into, a company with 10,000 people and work there, and you try to tell them you're going to change out their LOS system. It's never going to happen. I think we're in a really sweet spot. I think, I'd like to see us, at the end of 2025 with 150 to 200 loan officers in our footprint. I think that's super attainable. Referrals, right? It's just like originating loans. Mm-hmm. It took me 6 months to figure this out. And, I coach a bunch of loan officers on sales techniques and what they need to do to be successful. And one of the major things that was really eating me up, and you saw it and I shared it with you, is I'm doing all the activities I coach people to do to go get mortgages and help them grow their business. And I'm trying to put that in my daily routine of, I'm not really out there originating loans anymore. I don't know how to price out a loan. I had to walk into your office the other day, and I'll admit that.
It was because of a system change. It wasn't like you didn't know how.
Yeah.
So, it was just the button was in a different spot.
And I didn't have time. I was on the phone live for the recruit. So, and I don't even know where I was with that.
And that was at like 7 p.m, by the way.
Yeah, we're the only ones in here. All the lights off in the office.
But you were you used to spend a lot of time originating. Now you're going into the recruiting side. So implementing kind of the same things in the techniques that we've always done to go get business from realtors or different referral partners. Now you're kind of using that same thing to go and get go to get recruits.
And it's finally translated over the last probably like 2 months, where it's like all the stuff I coach, it's like the same thing as, finding a loan. It's really just getting the message out there, talking about the product, talking about Milestone, what we have to offer, and how we really differentiate ourselves. So I'm talking to a lot of retail loan officers that are W-2'd or 1099, and like some of their concerns, they're big concerns for them, but I'm looking at them like these are such small things for us because we've already crossed that bridge, right? You've been with us since day one, right? Like, we are the founders of Milestone. I can't even tell you or tell the people that are watching this, you know this. It's not even tens of thousands of dollars on systems, licensing, bad ideas. We've definitely spent hundreds of thousands of dollars learning. I call it an education. I went and got my PhD in making bad mistakes on trying to how to build a company. I did not have somebody I could go to, a mentor. I mean, I have a lot of people in the business that they're learning at the same time I was, right? So the broker channel really started blowing up and really gaining market share 2016, 2018 range. We jumped in 19. So the market share you're seeing grow exponentially. And I think over the next 24 to 36 months, it's going to go right to the moon. I mean, I don't understand how somebody can sit across from me and my confidence is built, right? It's like going from like being a $15 million producer to a $200 million producer a year. Now I feel like I'm the $100 million producer. I still had a long way to go. Trying to recruit and just talk about the company, because just like anything else, you don't want to be self-promoting, right? I don't want to go out there and be like, Milestone's the best. Why? Because you work there? No. But you have to go through it. And now I finally feel confident enough to say, we have all the tools in place. We have all the right people in place. Now it's just overcoming some of their objections that they have. And it's super simple. Like, people don't want a lot. Like, what I'm learning is they just want to get paid. They want to close loans. They want to do the right thing by their clients and their business partners. And they want to do it in a timely way. Those are all key attributes of a great loan officer. Mm-hmm. So as soon as that, like that light bulb kind of went off in my head, now my phone's ringing, 3, 4, 5 times a day from people referring me into people, loan officers saying, hey, what's the special sauce you guys got over there? And it's like, we don't really have any special sauce, but then we really do. Right? Like, we do everything that everybody else does. We either do it just as well as them. I'm not saying we're doing it better, or we do it better than a lot. But, the partnership with the bank and giving us that edge on that federal registration and being able to say to somebody who's only licensed in California, you can go out and originate a loan in Oregon, Washington, Massachusetts, many other states, or get licensed as an individual in 4 or 5 states that you want to do business in. And I think going forward into the next 2 years, where big places, they're not going to be able to keep up with us. I mean, I think the broker channels, we're just starting off. And for the longest time, it's in my own head. I was like, broker channel's always going to be at, an 18, 22% market share. It would not surprise me if the, broker channel in 2027 is at 40, 42, 45%, right? The sky's the limit right now. And there's a lot of activity of people moving in and asking questions.
There's a lot of activity on people not staying in the business too, which is crazy to me. And when I look at the numbers, I think a big part of that is people are at the wrong places.
Yeah.
Honestly, because we didn't lose. I mean, there was, don't quote me on these numbers, but somewhere around 250,000 loan officers.
Yeah.
93,000 left after 2024 finished.
In the last 2 or 3 years, we've lost more than 50%.
Massive exit in the business. And I think that's because a lot of people are at places that can't compete. The overhead's way too high for the company. So their rates are super high. They're cutting everything, 401ks, they're cutting management that help people to try to grow the business. So they're just lost. They're lost at a company with high rates and no support. How are you going to win?
Yeah, I mean, I'm out there recruiting people, talking to them on the phone, and I say to them, oh, you want to price out a loan? Let me put you in contact with Craig Snell. And they're like, I can talk to Craig Snell like right now. I'm like, yeah, he's sitting like two doors down from me in the office. And it's that type of access, right? So the whole time I've ever been on retail or broker or whatever, it's hard to get to the top. And even if, we're at 50, 60 employees right now, even at 200, our time is still important, but we're never too busy to have that conversation with those people. And I think that's a real turn on for a lot of people, because they know that we have their back, right? They're not coming for pricing exceptions. They're making that decision. I tell a lot of people I talk to now, I'm like, listen, you work at Milestone, but you're the CEO of your own company. Like, you continue to be the CEO of your own business. And all you want is for me and Craig and our team to support you on helping you grow your business as far as you want. And I think that's a big turn on to a lot of people, because we back it up. I tell a lot of recruits or people looking to just inquire, go to my website, pick any employee you want there. And I'm willing to bet you're not going to be able to get a bad thing about Milestone, because I feel like the culture and the people that we have working here, they're all amazing people. There's no bad blood. There's no bad anything. And I'm not saying there's never a bad day, but we don't let bad days turn into bad weeks. We don't let bad weeks turn into bad months. I joke around and get it so granular. I don't let bad minutes turn into bad hours, right? I've come into your office all hot and bothered and vice versa. I'm like pissed. I'm so mad. Walk out of the office, it's gone, right? You just have to, memory of a goldfish is what I say. Like I have 10-second memory. Like it happened, you can't change it. Move on to the next.
Yeah, and I think another thing, it's hopefully everybody's goal in 2025 is to do more business.
Yeah,
not everybody knows how to do more business. Like it can be time consuming if you're doing things the wrong way. And I think one of the things that I learned from you as I was growing and trying to increase my numbers is how do you become more efficient? What can you delegate? What do you not delegate? How do you do it? I do things a little differently than you did. I took some of the advice you had and I did my own spin on it. But I think that's one thing between you and I that we can help somebody with big time who has come here and been like, I've only been able to ever do 10 million or 15 million. I don't have time to do more. And I'm doing 100 million and helping everybody else because there's an efficiency that you get to where the level of knowledge and skill helps to speed things up. So you're not looking at the same thing for 2 hours where I could look at it for 2 minutes. But, there's a lot of different tricks and education that we can help give you that is going to make you more efficient, which is going to allow you to go make more money. You've done that a lot with your coaching. I coach things in a different way, a little bit more on the technical side of things, but there's an efficiency on both ends. You're a lot more efficient if you do things X, Y, Z every single time. So when you go back, you're not redoing X, Y just to get to Z.
And you don't have to change it if your volume goes from 10 million or 100 million because you're doing it the same way. You have the same people in place. They all have their job. Right?
Yeah.
Take it out of Bill Belichick's book. Just do your job. Stay in your lane. And I still have problems with that with different loan officers. But I think one of the big things that you just made me think of is we're a unique combo in this business, right? Like there are some great people that are out there that are just like Craig Snell. There's some great people out in our business that are just like myself, but they're not teamed up together. And our partnership, like as soon as I get hung up on something and I'm like, you know what? That's a Craig Snell question. Like call Craig, call Rachel. Like this is what they specialize in. This is what they're really good at. And for me, I just know what I'm really good at. And my job is to make sure I know what everybody else is good at so I can direct the traffic. There's no way I think I could sit down with a recruit and tell them, these are the systems we have in place. These are the technical things because you're way more technical than me, right? Like I'm still trying to figure out how to turn on my computer some days. But what you've learned from me, you've taken and exponentially added on layers and layers of even more clarity and just almost dumbing it down so it's so granular that nothing slips through the cracks. Like it blows my mind. I remember telling you way back in the day, I'm like, I don't know how you remember everything. And now I walk in your office, you're like, I don't remember anything. I'm like, all right, well, you hit that point, right? So now you're on my boat. But
when you get to that, like
you've put the systems in place where it doesn't happen.
Of that, and just like every little thing, whether it's how you get a loan to disclosing, how you set up a file, how you do this, whatever, you'll learn how to get more efficient at it so that it goes faster. My biggest thing that I'm always working towards is how do I get more efficient? How do I get faster at doing whatever it is? Do I need somebody to do this for me? Do I need somebody to do that for me? How do we make this as quick as possible? Because everybody wants something yesterday in this business, no matter if you're dealing with a realtor or a buyer. Everybody wants an answer right away. So can you get that way? And then everybody wants to close right away. Yep. So if you can set it up in the right way where you can get the stuff you need up front, make a decision on it, you're not waiting on things. You make it clear to them that this is what I need to make this happen for you. And you don't let people push you around, I guess. One of those things that I think a lot of loan officers struggle with is, they want to give somebody a decision, but yet they don't know how to kind of stand up for themselves in a nice way and explain that this is why I need this. So, when I just have that initial conversation, I'm getting those like questions that I know are going to come up and possibly depending on what they're telling me. so that I'm thinking 3 steps ahead so I can get that from them right now and not wait until they get me this to then ask them for that, to then ask them for this. And when you get better at that stuff, that really helps make you a lot more efficient. And also it makes your relationship with your client a lot better because now you're not going back to them over and over and over, asking for more and more. And then how you talk to people, the trainings that we've been doing on how you communicate with people and how you, have those relationships and how you can kind of talk to different people is important. And that's a big part of this business. Like you're talking to, a financial planner versus you're talking to a construction worker, it's a different conversation that you're going to have, but it's just understanding that and being able to talk to people in the same way and not getting super tunnel vision when you're having those conversations is important in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I can't agree with you more. I listened to you. You sit 2 doors down from me, and I walked into Craig's office a couple of days ago, and he's like, "Vern, just calm down." I'm like, I haven't been on this side of it in a minute, talking to title companies or, something going on with a closing agent, and I'm ready to just, come through the phone and just erupt. And it's been 30 minutes. I'm like, why can't they understand that 1 + 1 = 2? Even when maybe it didn't equal 2 in that situation. But back to your point, because it popped right in my head. One of the crazy unique things about Milestone is that we've brought in people who've never written a loan before and helped them grow and be successful in this business and make a living for them and their family. We've taken people from other brokers, other retail places where they've had their best year in 2024, their first full year with us. They've made President's Club. They've doubled their best year's production in one of the hardest years where like you just said, more than 50% of the loan officers nationwide have gotten out over the last 2 or 3 years. That's a huge success, right? Like as where you sit as a leader in the company, kudos to you. You deal with most of the salespeople on a daily basis, and seeing somebody grow from not ever writing a loan or failing their MLO test 2 or 3 times to now being President's Club, closing $20 million, $25, $30 million in a year. Dude, that's exciting, right? I mean, I look up numbers for everybody I'm talking to just to make sure like what they're telling me is the same thing that, apples to apples. I learned that from you. I'm like, oh, Craig, I got another $80 million guy. We look on Reddit and it's close to $7 million. I'm like, Jesus, this guy's selling ice to Eskimos over here. But it's really eye-opening to me to see some of the bigger producers locally in our region in the Northeast. And I would think, oh, wow, they're a 70, 80, $100 million guy like yourself. And I look up their numbers because it's popping up as I'm doing a search for somebody else, and they did 22 million last year. And I'm like, they did 80 million like in my head 2 or 3 years ago. And I wonder what happened, right? Like the person didn't change, their skill set didn't change, but did it evolve? Did the company evolve? And I think that's one of the things that I'm most proud about Milestone is we're ever evolving. Like if we need to change something up, everybody in this building that works at Milestone knows you can call Vern, you tell him that this is better, this is going to work better, and this is going to be the future. This is where we're going. I'm going to walk into your office. I'm going to walk into another 1 or 2 people in the company. I'm going to say, what do you guys think? Is this accurate? Is this person giving me right? Yeah, Vern, I think that's right.
Yeah, I think that's a huge, like one of your biggest attributes to me is that you're always willing to do that. Always looking to see like, okay, how can we get better or change things? So like we're not worried about just sitting back and be like, no, this is how we've always done it. We're not changing it. Or this works. We're not going to change it. You're not afraid to spend money or to put, more work on the staff because we're going to make a change because we know, hey, it's going to be better down the line. And that, we wouldn't be in the position we are now if we didn't do that, if you didn't push it because, we, like you said, we both have different traits. My trait is in the business of originating loans. I'm not necessarily thinking 10 steps ahead of how we're going to get there or, be able to get to this next level or what we should be doing or recruiting people from Washington. That's not what I'm doing. You're out there doing those things. And all of a sudden now we're at a position where we're growing when everyone else is shrinking. Yeah. And then I think back to your point about, these other loan officers where their production has gone down. I think it's a mindset problem with a lot of companies. When your company is pulling back, shutting down, rates are suck, bad market, blah, 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 that's negativity around you all day long. Are you going to get up and go work as hard as you were going to work if things were great? Probably not. And we've never gotten to that point here. There's not been a day where anyone's like, oh, market sucks. We're going to just go drink at the bar all day long when you see that that's what our competition's doing because they're defeated.
Yeah. It's time to work harder at that point, right? Double down. I've gone gambling with you, not to put this in a terminology. When you're having a bad day, you're having a bad run at the casino, like you don't start lowering your bet. You start doing doubling down and splitting up some sixes and doing what it takes. At the end of the day, doing what it takes to win, right? Like at the end of the day, I think if you're successful in this business, no matter where you're working, you're successful. So you're financially okay, right? Like no one I don't think is, just printing money and just blowing it like it was, 2005 anymore. But I think those are the things that go into it is we just want to have everybody win every day. If they can win the day, they'll win the week. They win the week, they'll win the month. They win the month, they're going to win the year, right? Going into 2025, we did a lot of goal setting. We're reviewing everybody's goals for 2025, business and personal. That's the other thing that when I'm talking to loan officers and coaching or recruiting, I'm like, you need to make sure your personal life is in check and that's getting enough time and attention, not just your business, because you came in, I had just started Milestone. You're there with me on day one. I think we were working, I'm not joking when I say 70, 80 hours a week. We were together, right? I spent more time with you in the first 3 years of Milestone than, I did with anybody else. That's probably not the best thing for somebody's like work-life balance. And I don't believe in work-life balance. I really don't. I believe in there's time that you're going to have to work 7 or 8 hours a week. That's what it is. But at the same time, there's going to be times where I'm going to disappear for a week and I can go on vacation and know that the things that are in place at Milestone right now, if you took a week off, it's going to hurt this much. If you take 2 weeks off, it's going to hurt greater. If you took a month off, now we have a hole to fill. You and some other key players have given me the ability that I can go away for 4 days or 10 days and I don't worry about anything for the first time. And that's going back to what you're saying, mindset. If you walk into work every day and the rates are bad and that's all you're being told, can you go away on vacation and think that everything's going to be okay for your financial freedom in the next 6, 12, 18 months? The fact that we have not laid anybody off because of it being slow or slow down, or there's no refis, or the world, the sky's coming down, rates suck. Do you think anybody wakes up on our ops staff or our sales staff saying, I have to worry about my job next week because we don't have enough loans in the pipeline? No, we've built systems in place, thanks to a lot of people around us helping us out to make sure we don't get to that point, right? We have a great backing partnership with Bristol County Savings Bank. That's a $3.5 billion bank that has our back, that we've been able to, build a relationship around where they give us the autonomy to go out and build out Washington or Nevada or Arizona or Texas or wherever we're going into. That makes me sleep a lot better at night. And I think that trickles all the way down to the janitor that we don't have here at Milestone, but like all the way to the bottom, whatever that bottom, whatever that person who thinks, I'm just an employee. No, you're not an employee. You are part of the team. Right? Like this is a big team. We talk about sports a lot. You played a lot of sports and you're a lot better athlete than I am. I'm never going to say that again. But in all seriousness, this is a team, right? If we don't have the Wendy's on the team or the Rachel's on the team or the Pearls or the Kevins or the Jareds or the Eric Lombards, we're missing a piece, right? Like they're all key contributors in different ways and different personalities for the cohesion of the entire group. Right. And I think that's another thing. I hear you say it a lot. I don't have a problem waking up and coming to work at 7 o'clock in the morning or 9. I look forward to coming to work. This is not work for me. This is I'm coming to hang out with my team. Like we were in high school or college playing basketball. Did you ever say I don't want to go to practice? I just treat every day like I'm a 17-year-old kid going to hang out with my teammates and we're just going to have a good time. And sometimes we celebrate. Sometimes you take a big defeat. And, when we get defeated as a team, it doesn't hurt as much as getting defeated as an individual, right? Those first couple years, I took some beatings, but I took those beatings behind a closed door by myself, or I'd go home and I'd sleep about it. Now I can walk into 5, 6, 10 different people and be like, I just got the shit kicked out of me today. And I've had loan officers walk into my office. You haven't walked in your office. Hey, I lost this deal. They feel defeated, but they're feeling defeated as a team. Right? Like no one is on an island at Milestone. And I think that's the one big characteristic I'm seeing out there is that a lot of these loan officers, they feel like they're on an island. Like I go out of my way to pick up the phone and I try to call as many loan officers. I'm going to get beat on this, but I called the loan officer. Today's Thursday, Monday night, I think on my ride home, just because he popped in my head and I hadn't talked to him in a couple of weeks. And I had a solid 15, 20-minute conversation with him about going snowmobiling next time we're together up in New Hampshire. Great guy, but I just wanted to check in, right? Because you never know what's going on in somebody's life. And I think those are the things. Those are the little tangible things that at Milestone, I know you do the same thing. You touch base with loan officers. I'm like, oh man, what are you doing over here? But it's because we care, right? And I think that's what's going to project us to be, not only number one in Massachusetts, number one in whatever state we want to go into, because we have that dominate mindset. Like we want to go in and dominate.
Matters. Like, I come into your office sometimes, you're like, I just had 3 conversations with this person today. I'm like, why are you having 3 conversations with this person? They've never closed a loan or 2 loans, but it doesn't matter if they closed $100 million or it's their first loan, you're going to spend the time talking to them. And I don't think you get that at a lot of places, especially like it's easy to say that you're going to get that when you're getting recruited or you're going to get this help, but there's not a lot of places where you're going to get that access and get that help because this business is hard and challenging. I think we both remember that and remember being newer and how that was a struggle and trying to figure out because there's just so much that you have to learn and there's so many different pieces and every step of the way, there's a question that's going to come up. Yeah. And we have people in place. We have team leaders in place that help with a lot of that now where, you're not just by yourself. You don't just have to only call us. You can call your team leader. You have a team of 3 or 4 people that are, there's some people that are kind of in the same bucket as you. There's a couple more that have a little bit more experience. And there's some that, are the team leaders who have a lot more experience. So you have people that you can always go to be able to get help and get answers, as well as, you always have availability to call anybody that you need to get the answers and the help you need when the time comes. Because even though we know it might not be that urgent of a situation,
it is to them.
It is to them, and to them that they have one deal and that's very, very important to them. And I get that piece,
I think
you get that piece.
Yeah, 100%. And I think you bring it up to team leaders. I think that was probably one of the most crucial and best decisions that we have made as a company almost across the board. And the amount of people, like I was just saying, we brought it, you can bring in a brand new loan officer, you can bring in a $5 million, a $50 million, somebody been in it 1 year or 10 years. You can plug them into the system. We're going to show them how to get better. But when I'm out there talking to people to bring them into the organization, they feel comfortable because I tell them we have people doing 10 million that are now doing 20. So go talk to Rob or Bobby or Rose or Eric or whoever it may be, or Jared. They started at 0 and now they're doing 25 million. Do you want to talk to them? And we have that array. And, having somebody of your caliber and in your position who started brand new in the business in 19 and in his second full year doing 100 million has never looked back. There's not too many people I can talk to when I'm out and they're calling me and they're like, well, you just don't get me. And I'm like, okay, tell me what's so special about your business, right? Like everybody's got an individual personality, but it doesn't matter if you're brand new in this business, you've done 10 million, 50 million, or 100 million. I can, as a team at Milestone, we can help you grow that business to the next level, right? And I think that's really right now one of the sexy pieces when I'm talking to people is they're like, wait, I can go talk to the other loan officers. I'm like, I'd rather have you talk to them because I'm kind of out of the game a little bit on the origination side. They're going to give you the fresh ideas, right? Our business is always ever evolving. You don't want to talk to me about what I did 2 years ago in this business. It's already old hat, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm going to be able to get you and coach you on the fundamentals, which I think a lot of companies forget the fundamentals. It's like, here's a laptop, here's the playbook, you got your license, go talk to real estate agents.
Later, yeah.
It's like, okay. And then they might get lucky and close a loan here and there, but it's never going to become a career. No, and that's like one of the questions I always ask people. Are you looking for a job or are you looking for a career? Because if you're looking for a job, I'm not the guy, right? Like I won't coach somebody that doesn't have a calendar. If you're not using a calendar, I don't know what you're doing. And how do we project the future if we can't look at the past? If I can't look at the past, I don't know what you did wrong to get to where we are now. So those are all great points.
I mean, that's a big part of the success that these guys are having right now is that coaching and that accountability, because I see it even on the real estate side. I work with a lot of different teams. I work with a lot of different offices. The people that have the most success on that are coached and held accountable as well. And that's a big piece that you don't think that you need. And you might be somewhere that you don't never have had it, but wait until you see what happens when you do have it.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It's very easy in any job where you kind of dictate what you do yourself, right? How much work you put in, how much effort you put in to not put that effort in. But when you're held accountable, and people need, not everybody needs that. I don't personally need that, but that's just how I am. But there's a lot of people here that I know do need that, because if not, they start to get, we're not going to let anybody get like that. We're not going to let anybody get defeated and not push themselves. And, not a lot of companies that I know of do that.
At the end of the day, they care about the bottom line and not the person.
Yeah.
Right. We care more about the people. And, seeing you from, 6 years ago when I first met you to now, you're a whole different human being. Like the level of care that you don't even, I know people that you've helped that no one else in this building knows. Right. And vice versa, the same thing. And now I hear from other people that are helping other individual loan officers, ops people, whatever it is. That's what inside makes me super happy, right? Like we've been able to build an organization and a culture where no matter what, if somebody feels down, somebody feels left out, somebody feels like there's a problem, somebody's going to pick them up. I can guarantee that that's happening across the board. No matter who you are in the organization, you feel some level of support. And if you don't, I hope you know, and I think they know that the door's open all the way to the top, right? Like they can walk in your office, Rachel's office, my office, and they're going to be heard. Right? I'm not saying we're going to fix every one of their problems, but they're going to be heard and we're going to figure it out. And I think that's, again, I'd hate to just beat a dead horse. That's what separates us as a company. Like you're selling the same loans that XYZ retail place is selling, right? Like the rate might be a little bit better. You might be a little bit faster. So why does over $100 million of production go to Craig Snell, but not to, another loan officer? It's because of the way you go about your day, the systems you have in place, the level of care that you show to your consumer, and you want to educate them and explain all the different options that they might have, but then you're going to give them the best opinion. And sometimes that opinion is, now's not the best time for you to buy a house. Those are conversations that teaching loan officers to have early on in their career is going to help them from, going down. Are you a salesman or are you an advisor of the mortgage business? Are you a mortgage advisor or you're a salesman? Are you trying to sell an interest rate, sell a product, or are you really giving all of the details, all of the advice, and really advising them on one of the largest transactions of their life?
Yeah. And I think if you're not that approach, you're never going to have long-term success.
Yeah.
Personally. I mean, that's always been my approach from day one. I don't think it'll ever change personally, but, I would never put somebody in something that I don't feel like is the best option for them. And I always like to explain why to people. It's not just like, hey, do this, see you later. Like there's times where I tell people, hey, no, listen, this isn't for you, or this is why this isn't the best idea, or, what's your overall goal here, that we can come up with a plan, because you might have plans 3-4 years down the line that the decision you make now is going to impact what those plans are. So you got to look at that whole picture. But if you're just so short-sighted and you're worried about that one transaction and making that dollar on that transaction, your business is never going to be super successful. And that's the biggest piece and advice that, I personally can give anybody.
Well, I appreciate it. This has been a great episode. Hopefully we get a lot of content and Milestone culture. Let's go.
See you guys.